Let's talk about something that society is obsessed over: being single in your 30s. Welcome back to the podcast. If you're new here, I'm Sheen, the host, and this is a solo episode where I will talk to you about any topic that I love. And it's just me and no other guests. So let's get into it. If you're single, or if you know someone who's single over their 30s, you will know the unsolicited advice, the pressure, the judgment that comes with it. And it is crazy how it transcends culture, country, religion. It transcends everything. It's just there. Society has just decided this is the way. And it is crazy. As someone who is officially in her 30s now, who is Muslim, who is a woman, the amount of unsolicited advice I get, the amount of worried people I get is crazy. And the fact that my parents are chilled about this is crazy as well. You know, it's the fact that the people who should care, I mean, they do care. It's just that they know that this is not a problem. But people who should have nothing to say about this, for some reason, have an opinion. I cannot tell you how often I've been getting this recently, you know, where people are just like, oh my God, Beta, your standards are too high. Okay, I get it coming from the aunties. But now when you start getting it from your friends or like people your age, your peer, and they're like, oh, you know, maybe you should start thinking about your standards. Maybe they're too high. And I was like, really? Are we really doing this? Is this what society has come down to? Are we really starting to tell women that you need to hurry up? Also, let's clarify, this is for women. I feel like men don't get it as much. I'm not going to say they don't get it at all. It's true that men probably also get the pressure a little of getting married, but it's a lot more for women, right? They'll tell you your clock is ticking, you're going to be on the shelf for too long, like a milk that's about to go bad, or like, you know, but men like younger women. Okay, I'm not old. Like, we're not old. What is this concept of us being old? Yes, back in the day, people used to die in their 20s. So therefore, getting married when you were 12 was normal. But that's no longer the case. We live up to 80 now. And what is this thing of like, you need to be married in the second decade of your life? I feel like even our brain is not fully developed until we're 25. So what is this pressure? Where does it come from? And the thing is, we've evolved over time. We've evolved enough to now let girls be educated, to understand that women are allowed to work, to understand that women are allowed to have their own ideas. Yes, we've evolved on that front, but we're still not evolved on the front that people should get married when they are ready financially, emotionally, spiritually, and also when they want to, if they want to. But you know what all this pressure is doing? It's just pushing a lot of people to get married to the wrong person or at the wrong time. And we've all seen the divorce rate really skyrocket. Like in the US, it was almost 50% at some point. And that makes sense, right? Because people are making decisions that are rash, that are not based on the reasons that they should be based on. Marrying out of fear or out of pressure is like jumping into a sinking boat and hoping that it should be fine instead of just staying on the shore alone. Do you see how crazy this is? This is just beyond my comprehension. Why would you do that to yourself? But I guess I get it, because some people can't handle the pressure. And this is why we need to stop telling people all of these things. And let me tell you, the reasons I've heard from people for why they got married, mental, okay? All of my friends are married. I'm lonely. What will people say? People don't want to marry older women. When will I become a mom? My ex got married. All of my friends are married and now I don't know who to hang out with. Like, how are these good enough reasons for you to get married? You should get married when you find the person who's worthy of your time and who you are worthy of as well. It's as simple as that. And I don't know why us as a society, we're still struggling with this. And yes, it is your fault, by the way. All this pressure you're putting on these young people to get married, they make the wrong decisions. And listen, I get it. Okay, I get it. I get that the pressure is there. And I also get that sometimes you might just want to get married. but it's the ghetto out here on the street. At the moment, dating and getting married is really hard. Now imagine slapping on top of that the whole Muslim thing, which we will get into in a minute. But I feel like if we keep doing the comparison game and thinking, oh my God, but all of my friends are married, what about me? I don't know why this was an American accent, but what about me? And I feel like we need to remember that life is not a race, okay? And getting married is not the final phase of life, okay? Let's be clear on that, first of all. Secondly, we all have such different lives, right? Think about it. We all went to universities for a different number of years. We are all doing different jobs. We all have different aspirations in life. We have different culture. We have different values. We are excited by different things. So why should we be expected to get married at the same age? That makes no sense. And also, if you think about it, the likelihood of you meeting someone physically or bumping into them somewhere, okay, let's say even online on the dating apps, the likelihood of you finding someone who likes you and you like them is so low, because there are so many factors, right? There's age, there's culture, there's religion, there's interest, there's chemistry, there's physical attraction. All of this to happen, it's hard and it takes time. And at the same time, it can be as easy as you bumping into someone in an elevator, right? So it doesn't need to be hard either. It just means that it can happen at a very random time, very random place, and we cannot predict it. If you spend a lot of time wondering, is it me? Am I the problem? I have the perfect story for you about how the right thing will find you at the right time. So there's this story, I don't know from where or what, I've seen it and heard it a few times, and it really, really helps me think about patience in a beautiful way. There are these two men who haven't eaten in days, and they're really, really hungry and starved, and they're walking into this abandoned village, and they finally make it to a road, and they know that at the end of that road there's a huge mansion, and they're like, okay, we'll probably get food from there, so let's go knock on that door. They go knocking, and from inside the mansion only one plate of food comes out. It's got bread and then every other thing. It has a roti in it, so I think it's from India, the story. And one of the guy who was being a little bit more, let's be polite about this. He was like, who's going to take it? Are we going to share it? And the other guy, who was just so starved, he was like, you know what? I'm just going to take it. And he took the plate and started eating. And he didn't want to share, and it happens. We get it. Sometimes people are hungry. And the other guy felt so annoyed. And then he was walking out from the house and he was walking back on the street being really annoyed at the universe, saying, what did I do to deserve this kind of treatment? We were both equally hungry. Why did he get to eat and I still don't have food? And in that time, he heard someone running behind him and calling out to him. He turned around to see that it was someone from inside the mansion who was coming with another plate of food. And the person said, we're so sorry. We were still making warm bread for you. And that's why it took a while. So it only took a while because he was meant to get a warm bread rather than probably a stale cold bread. And that makes me so happy. It reminds you that yes, you might see someone else getting something, but that's what was written for them, right? We also believe in taqdeer, in fate. This was written for them. What is written for you will find you at the right time, and they will be perfectly beautiful and perfect for you. So there's no need to play that comparison game and kind of get lost in the whole thinking of, but what about me? And also, why does everyone get it and I don't get it? It's not the right time for you yet. And I'm talking to myself here. We're all in the same boat. We all have those moments of doubt where you think that, can I get a tracking number? And it's normal to feel that way. But it's also good to have these little reminders that, patience is worth it. And I think that maybe we still need to grow. We still have so many things that we need to achieve first and kind of elevate to a level. And I'm not talking professionally. I'm talking about, spiritually, talking about who we are as a human being. We need to elevate and be better. And then maybe at that level is where you meet your partner, because that's where he or she is. And I think that's another way of looking at it, right? And it's just being excited at the prospect of meeting that person rather than thinking, where is he? And there is another added level of complexity when you throw into the mix the whole being a Muslim thing, right? So the real balance is between deen and dunya, as they say. But it gets harder and harder, I feel, for our generation, because there are so many, first of all, you have so many different types of Muslim sects, right? So you have Sunni, Shia, etc. that comes into the mix. But then at the same time now, you also have different levels of how people practice their religion and how much they actually care. Some people are culturally Muslim. Some people think that it's okay to drink. Some people think that it's okay to not pray. And adding all of those levels of difficulties means finding someone who has the same lifestyle as you doesn't just summarizes itself as finding someone who is also Muslim, because compatibility comes from a lot of things, right? From your values, first of all, and values are mostly driven by your religious beliefs as well, if you are religious, and also just based on the lifestyle. I feel like I've had this conversation recently with a friend, and it was pretty frustrating, to be honest, because one comment I get a lot is because I'm looking for someone who is Muslim and practicing, because that's who I am. And I feel like we need that kind of match when it comes to building a life together. And this friend in question was very much like, oh, but I feel like the religious men would not want you because you don't cover your hair. And you don't want the people who are on the same level as religiosity as you. And I was like, that's not true. That's not how it works. Yes, I don't wear the hijab. That's my personal choice. But I don't go around saying that it is okay for women not to wear the hijab. This is my flaw. This is something that I'm working on, my relationship with God. But what I don't like is when someone is choosing to do what we would understand as a sin in the eyes of the religion, but they want to explain why it's okay to do it. That's where we disagree. And again, I don't know what's right. I don't know what's wrong. This is my personal belief. This is how I want to do life. This is how I want my future generations to do life. So obviously I want someone who shares the same moral values. Having a friend then tell me, oh, maybe it's time to start thinking about, marrying someone who's not necessarily Muslim, but just has the same values. But for me, these are the same things, because so much of what I do is guided by the fact that I'm Muslim. I don't drink because I'm Muslim. There are a lot of things that I do. For example, planning your day around prayers because I'm Muslim. So all of this is lifestyle. So you can't tell me, and obviously my values comes from this. So you can't tell me go find someone who is not Muslim but shares the same values. And also that does not align with what I believe in. First of all, I believe in the fact that I should be marrying someone who's Muslim, and I want my kids to be brought up Muslim. So it's frustrating, right? And I know a lot of you probably share the same frustration when it comes to people telling you, and it doesn't have to be about the whole religion thing, because a lot of people are also very chilled. Even if they're religious, they wouldn't mind their partner not being as religious. And again, that's a choice. But I feel like with a lot of things like this, whether you say that, oh, I want someone who is intellectually compatible with me, I want someone who is financially stable with me, or as Noor said, I want someone who has money. But what is wrong with that? I feel like we need to stop telling people what they should be looking for in a partner, because you are not going to be there when their marriage is not going well because this person is unhappy in that marriage because it does not fulfill their criteria. Are you going to be there to help them through that? Are you going to go to therapy with them? Are you going to pay for their therapy? Are you going to help that person if they have to go through a divorce? No. So why are you telling this person what they should be looking for in a marriage? Yes, I get it. Sometimes you need to tell them, don't be too superficial. Okay, I get it. Or telling someone you're being ridiculous because the way someone chooses their food is not a good enough reason to not like them. Or, whatever it is. But when it comes to things like physical attraction, you can't force it. And if someone wants a comfortable lifestyle, if they already have a comfortable lifestyle, asking them to then give that away if they don't want to will lead to friction. So what are we trying to achieve here? Are we just trying to achieve ticking off that box of saying, I'm married now, get off my back? Because that is terrible. As I said, it is literally sitting in a sinking ship just because you don't want to sit on the shores alone. And that makes no sense, right? Why would you do that? And I think people need to back off, especially you married people, you need to get off the back of people who are single, because you think that being single means that these people are struggling. Not everybody is. Not everyone is dying to get married. Not everyone wants to get married. Not everyone is in a rush. And not everybody is lonely because they're single. And I think they need to get over that little hump. And also we need to stop telling people these things. Just like people get annoyed when you ask them, when are you having kids? So why do you think it's okay to ask someone, when are they getting married? Because it's such a personal issue, first of all. And secondly, there is no right or wrong answer here. People can get married whenever they want to. And I know a lot of you are going to come at me being like, oh, but there's only a certain window when women can have kids. Okay, does that mean everyone wants to have kids? Probably not. Does everyone who gets married within the appropriate biological window have kids? No. More and more people are struggling to have kids, but also more and more people are having kids much later in life. We have now developed the tech. Healthcare is advanced because women are having kids much later. So why are we using this? And also, what is your business about them having kids or not? This is what I don't understand. Why don't people mind their own business? But you know what I mean. It's like we need to stop, especially you married couples. A lot of my married friends are not like this. A lot of my married friends are very like, take your time, choose well. There's no rush. Whenever the right person will come. You will know once you know, all of these things. Very supportive. But there are still the few couples that will come at you from their high horses being like, look at us, you could be this, but you're just being difficult, lower your standards. And okay, cool, right? And I don't want to be mean on camera, but it's like, not everybody wants what you have, okay? And because you like what you have doesn't mean other people will like that. And yeah, I feel like that's pretty much it. And yes, okay, there are a lot of problems as well. Like, I feel like, yes, a lot of people have drank the Kool-Aid of feminism, being like, oh, we men and women are equal, or like 50-50, all of that situation. But for me, it all boils down to the same thing. It is about what you want and what I want, okay? So what I want doesn't need to be what you want. What you want doesn't need to be what I want. What happened to freedom of thoughts and choice? We are all free to be who we are and do what we think is best for us. And as long as it's nothing that's causing harm or pain to anyone else, we should be allowed to do whatever we want. Which is why I'm like, okay, if some people want to do 50-50, great. I don't agree with that, but you go ahead. I'm sure you'll find someone who wants to do that with you. Similarly, I want to marry someone Muslim. That's not your cup of tea. That's fine. That's my problem, not yours. And I think that's where it all boils down to. People should be allowed to have the choice to do what they want, and everyone should mind their own business. Okay, let's start there, because I feel like we are too lost into other people's businesses. And I love, that funny reel where that woman is with the whiteboard and she's saying, this is where you are, this is where you should be, this is my business, why are you in my business? That's exactly it. Why are you in my business? But honestly, it all boils down to being in your 30s, whether you're single or not single, whatever it is, you need to define your own narrative. It's not up to society. It's not up to the aunties. It's up to nobody else other than you. You define your 30s. And if you're in your 30s and single and you want to get married and you're waiting for it to happen, it's fine. A lot of us are in the same boat. I don't think it has anything to do with us personally. It's just the way society is evolving right now. There is a lot of grinding pain, whether it is men or women. I hear it from both sides that they can't find a good partner. So clearly there is a mismatch happening somewhere. But at the same time, if it's not happening for you, focus on yourself. Like right now is the best time. You have no responsibility. You don't have kids. You don't have a husband. You can just look after yourself. This is a period of self-growth, a period of exploration, of, really becoming who you are meant to be and living your best life. Okay. And also, I don't believe in the whole concept of finding your better half, because you are not half of a person. You need to be a full person. You need to be exactly who you are, know everything you like, everything you don't like, what do you care about, and, just finding out what makes you happy. And once you know that, then you meet another person who's also full, and then you come together to become life partners. It's not about being two halves or something. And also, it's too much of a burden to put on someone else to expect them to make you happy. And if you are unhappy right now being single, it means that you might not be ready to be in a relationship, because it's too much to expect from one person that they are now responsible for making you happy. Yes, this should be their caring about your well-being and making sure that you're happy with them, but your overall happiness should not come from like another person, because if that person leaves, like, that's just catastrophic, right? So that's why this is the best time. Honestly, make the most of it. Think of it like these are the final few months, maybe few days, few years that you have for yourself. So do all the things you want to do and look at it that way. It's that reframing of the mindset. And my parting message is, honestly, trust yourself, trust your timing, trust God or whoever you believe in, that, it will happen when it's meant to be, and you worrying about it is not going to rush it. So just enjoy life and try to make the most of it. Thank you for being here. I hope this was helpful. Please feel free to share any feedback and any comments about how you are feeling or how you're navigating. Any tips for the rest of us as well would be much appreciated. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.